Okay, this is where the news have done me in a little bit. They are talking about, or they were talking about for a while, this concept called herd immunity. So herd immunity, they were talking about naturally infecting about 60% of the population, and that would reduce the risk of anyone getting COVID. For this course, I want you to wipe that 60% out of your brain. No 60%. What we are looking for is 95%. All right, so that's our number, not 60, 95%. So we're going to talk about what is herd immunity. We're on page 7 at the moment now, and therefore why it's so beneficial and why it's so important that we get herd immunity once we have access to vaccines. So goals for this. We want to immunise at least 95% of the population. Yeah, as much as we can, 95% is our goal number. And that's because the greater number of individuals who have memory cells or memory B cells in particular, the less likely it is that someone is going to contract an infectious disease. And that's because if you immunise 95% of the population, there is a massive lack of available hosts. When I say available hosts, I mean someone that hasn't been immunised. Someone who hasn't been immunised. Okay, so let's just have a look here. We've talked about these vaccination programs. You can see here how different how vaccination programs have become in the past 50, 60 years. So back in 1960, they only had 13 different types of vaccines. Right now, you guys will have had 49. Yeah, so it's pretty different. But what they've shown us is that people aren't dying from these diseases that they once died from. And that's a direct result of these vaccination programs and this herd immunity. So why do we need herd immunity? We need to do our bit. So long as we aren't immunosuppressed or one of these groups, we need to do our bit for these people. So people that have got cancer, people that are immunosuppressed or have an immune disease, babies and the elderly, they can't vaccinate the way that we can. Yeah, the way that we can vaccinate is to then prevent us from getting the disease and prevent us from passing it on to them. So this is that question, why is herd immunity essential? This is why it's essential. We need to protect these people. Now, we're on page 8 now, and there are 3 different pictures. I want you to pause, and I'm hoping we can do this in class. If you don't want to do it at home, that's fine, but you can check through your pictures. You need to use 3 different colours. So you need someone for not immunised but healthy, you need someone who is immunised and healthy, and you need some colour for not immunised, sick and contagious. So they've used blue for not immunised but still healthy, they've used green for immunised and healthy, and they've used red for sick. Okay? And so in this first one, we need to illustrate a population group where no one is immunised and what happens. So we're looking at this top picture here. So what you find is that there are these 2 red guys over here, and you can colour in 1 or 2 in your population. Now, when no one's immunised, this is what happens. Okay? This is what has happened in Brazil. This is what has happened in Italy. This is what has happened in the US, in Russia, in all of those countries where they didn't enact social distancing fast enough. People got sick. Yeah, and that is what we're looking at here, is that lots and lots of people are getting sick. In the next picture, we're going to look at, this is what we've got probably in some countries now that we've got people recovered. So you've got some people that are immunised, yeah, or in this case, this could be someone that's had the disease as well, so they've got natural immunity. And you still have the same 2 red people in there that are going to infect the population. Can you see how there's still a really large effect? Yeah, those green vaccinated people aren't able to protect the others. Now, this one down here, the last picture, this is showing us herd immunity. Herd immunity is all about vaccinating as many people as possible, and you act like a barrier to protect people. So maybe this little guy down here, this little blue guy down here, maybe he has cancer. And if he has cancer, then he can't go and get a vaccine. But what we're doing is by vaccinating the people around him, they act as a barrier which stops this infected person from infecting him. And that is the importance of herd immunity. So you can see here, if you don't have herd immunity, so this is no herd immunity, you get one person with it, they infect another person. They become the transmitting case, they infect another person. And this is that massive spike that we see in the curve. The next one we've got here though, this is with herd immunity. With herd immunity, someone's infected, but all of a sudden they can't infect the next person and the transmission stops. So herd immunity is really, really valuable in protecting societies and populations.